Hello students. All right, here we are in week 5. We have survived week 4, which was the sub-zero weather. And I know that some of you were not able to go out to practicum last week, which it's completely understandable because of that very brutal weather that we had out. And of course the college was closed a couple of days. So just to remind folks a little bit about this and talk a little bit about any kind of situations where you may be absent or late to your practicum site. Please, if there's any situation where you're going to be late, maybe the car isn't working or you're stuck, with the kids or something's happened and you're going to be late, please let your practicum site know that you're going to be late, especially that person that's kind of waiting for you to show up. The last thing you want them to do is to wonder where you're at. They may be concerned about your safety, but it could also cause a bad perception in you as an employee. So just think of, if you were an employee, obviously you would tell your boss you're going to be late. Do the same thing with the practicum site. If there's a reason that you're going to miss the entire day, such as weather, again, let your practicum site know that you're not going to be there and the reason why. You feel unsafe driving, there's ice on the roads, which we are expecting potentially an ice storm tomorrow. And again, letting that practicum site know that you're not going to be there, and usually a general reason. You don't have to give them personal details, but a general reason why. The rule of thumb is just follow the same rules that you would with an employer, that you would with a practicum site, because you hope that someday that you might be an employee there, or at least you're going to use them as a reference to get a job, and you want to make sure that you are presenting the best to you possible in that case. So follow those rules. Now let me talk a little bit about safety as well. So if there's ever an issue where you feel unsafe, especially regarding weather or road conditions, even if the college hasn't canceled class or closed the college, don't go. If you feel in your personal area that it's really icy or bad, don't go. Just begin to let everybody know, let your preceptor know that you're not going to be there. You can send me an email just letting me know that you weren't there. That is not such a big issue to be so timely on that. The more things I'm concerned about is you notifying your preceptor site that you're not going to be there. So again, use your best judgment. I don't want you to ever feel like you have to put yourself in a situation where you feel unsafe about going out on the roads. So please keep that in mind. Okay, a little bit about that. Hopefully we're kind of on the downside of the bad weather, but again, we're potentially some ice storms, and as we get further in the semester, there could be some other inclement weather, but let's just hope the negative 20-degree days are behind us. All right, so this week we are in week 5. Again, just a couple of assignments that I would like from you. We're going to do your weekly reflection. So again, just a simple paragraph. Tell me how it's going in your clinical site for the past couple of weeks, and then send me your log sheets so I can see your current totals. It looks like everybody's doing okay right now on totals, especially considering last week was kind of a wash, as far as that goes. But remember, we do have to get 120 hours in before the end of the semester. So again, if you missed some bad days for weather last week, you do have to kind of build those in to make them up. You could, maybe stay a couple extra hours or stay an extra hour, rather than doing a complete day, just kind of build it up over time. Totally up to you on how you approach that, in working with your preceptor and what's best for you. I think this week is very important too with your, with your kind of the weekly reflections. I know one of you was encountering some unique difficulties due to a merger, and when there's ever mergers, there's going to be a little chaotic situation going on, with new owners in place, and us at the college, we were going to be under a merger. As you probably know, we were going to be merging with Bowling Green State University. That has changed, but having gone through that, and we're going to remain with Mercy Health, as we have with the past 100 years. But the with the mergers can create some uncertainty in certain work environments. So I know that can be a little challenging, but it can also be some pretty unique experience to see that happen. So I am looking forward to seeing how things are going out in that clinical site. Usually about this time, if we need to make corrections, it's usually around this point in the semester, right around weeks 5 and 6, if we do need to change how we're going to approach practicum. But I'll keep my fingers crossed, and hopefully everybody's still having some good experiences out there and getting some meaningful, some meaningful work done, with your practicum experience. And I'm going to remind you one more time. I know I talked about it in my last video, but this is the time. Make sure that your resume, your CV is ready to go. Be prepared to start sharing that with any of the decision makers in your area that you're working with if you want to work there. So make sure you're doing that. Have that CV ready to go. Make sure that that CV or resume has been reviewed by somebody else. And I would recommend that you use our Director of Career Services. I provided her information last go around. Just checking here. Yes, I provided her information in week 3. But have her do that. Have her look over your resume and CV, make sure it looks good. Last thing you want to do is give them a resume that maybe has some spelling errors or maybe doesn't put your best foot forward. So have her take a look at that. And then also, just to reemphasize again, too, interviewing skills. Not something that we do every day. We don't interview every day. We may interview, I don't know, maybe a dozen times in our life for a dozen different jobs. So it's kind of an unusual experience when you interview. So the more practice that you can have, the better, the more confident that you'll feel about the process. And you probably will never feel fully confident about the interview process, but at least we can move you a little bit more forward, on that spectrum, and have you feel a little bit more comfortable about that. And that's what, Kristen Porter, she is our Director of Career Services. She can help you do with even mock interviews. So take advantage of that. It's a great service that's available for you because we want all of our students to get meaningful jobs. So use that out there. All right. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week. Remember, send your reflection journals to me and your logs for this week, and I'll check in with you on week 6. Thanks.